So you chose the way of the warrior. I bet you weren't expecting this to happen. As this game autosaves every time you buy a new skill and it's a single file only, there's no way for you to test new abilities and then reload the game if you don't like them. I will make a complete build guide for each vocation. No spoilers about the story. This is safe to watch before playing the game. When you first arrive at the Vernworth Guild, you will be given a quest. Some goblins stole the weapons required to get Warrior and Sorcerer vocations. Go to their cave, kill everybody and take the weapons with you. Now you're a warrior. Skyward Thunder is your only skill when you first pick the class. It seems aimed at flying enemies, but its limited range and charging time makes it not that useful. This will, however, be your main attack for bosses for a few ranks. Many satisfying things happen when you use this skill, like climbing on top of your enemy if you release it when they are bending over to grab you. Rending Sweep, on the other hand, is good for dealing with enemies in groups. At this point, you cannot make combos, so you are basically defenseless after each attack. Without it, you will have problems when you get surrounded. You need to charge it though, that's why I'm not a huge fan. Bellow is a waste of space most of the time. Pounce AI is more than decent, so the ones that need to keep some distance from the enemies will do it. You'll be on the first line anyways, and the mechanic of you losing max health when you take damage until you rest makes it risky for you to take the classic tank role. Bulwark is a no-brainer for this class. No augments available yet. By the way, if you like my Kratos design, I have a tutorial to get the same character in your game, link in description. The main problem when you first pick a warrior is connecting. You're slow and your attacks have a very short range. When your enemies are at a distance or you are receiving range attacks, Gordon Launch shines. Charging toward your enemies, impaling them and later knocking them down. Use this with small enemies only. You can keep charging as long as you still have stamina. Ladder Launch may be useful, but I prefer one of my pawns to have it. You only have 4 skill slots, and as much as this may help with climbing enemies, you will end up using it mostly for reaching chests. Breakneck Strike. At this point, you shouldn't be charging many attacks, you are not tank enough to do so. By all means, if you have enough discipline points, buy it. Core skills don't occupy slots, so you basically will end up buying all of them anyways. If you use Skyward Thunder a lot or are fighting big enemies already, then get it. As we are trying to min-max this class, I would pass for now. Vitality is our priority. We are building our tank, and this augment while being basic makes a difference early on. Rank 3 is great. Surging Strike is one of the coolest movements warriors can get. Not incredibly useful for its short range, but very satisfying. You can use it jumping from a height too to increase damage. Small enemies only. Revivify sounds like good news, but you have 4 skill slots, and with this class you should have at least 1 make pawn. That's why this doesn't make any sense. Status potions are very easy to get collecting ingredients. Take a few of them with you, or let the make deal with habilitations. Chain of Blows is really essential. This allows you to make combos with your basic attacks instead of leaving you completely defenseless after each blow. This is the Rending Sweep killer for me. Much more convenient without charging times. No new augments. Rank 4 is the turning point of this class, when you finally start feeling prepared to fight different types of enemies. Now you will see why we were saving discipline points. Heavenward Thunder is a no-brainer. Your boss skill makes a lot of damage and can disorient them for a few seconds. Raising Sweep is your improved group control skill. It would be awesome if it didn't need time to be ready. Gets interrupted often, and there are simply better options. Savage Slash is the coolest skill ever. Very straightforward, very effective. Devastating when charged, but it's not required. You have 4 slots. By now, you should have Heavenward Thunder for big and flying enemies, Goring Lunge for charging from a distance, Savage Slash as your main strong attack, and Surging Strike for finishing off enemies, jump attacks, and attacking from a height. You finally have a versatile warrior. Now we get Breakneck Strike. Again, it's cheap. You could get it on rank 2, but now we have attacks that really makes a difference when charged, and probably a better armor that we enhanced. I'm trying to min-max being conservative spending discipline points. Repulse is the last core skill of this class, and it's great. You can cancel attacks and knock the enemy off balance. You still shouldn't be fighting many huge enemies, so this can wait. Impact improve your pushing and pulling abilities. Nope. Rank 5 is a transition rank. Ravening Lunge is an improved Goring Lunge. Less stamina consumed and improved damage. Nullbreaker is a great attack. The problem is that it isn't versatile. Big enemies only. And it's not powerful enough yet to substitute the more convenient Heavenward Thunder. We have 4 slots only, so sadly it's a pass for now. We are saving discipline points for the next ranks. Now is a good moment to buy Repulse. If you have less than 2000 points remaining, save it for later, unless you're constantly fighting big enemies. No new augments. Rank 6 is another transition rank. We get upgrades for some skills we won't use, so we'll cover this fast. The only new one is Tidal Fury, another niche skill. The warrior is as slow as it is. Waiting for a counterattack reduces the potential damage you can cause with other skills and takes away a slot. Both this and Tidal Wrath in rank 8 just don't fit in a 4-slot system. Pertinacity is your first big boy augment, and very useful for all close combat classes. Breaking guards can be a pain with some enemies later in game, so this is great. Moving forward, you will understand why we were saving as many discipline points as possible. The skills and augments we are going to buy in the last ranks are really expensive, and we want to have them as soon as possible. Diluvian Strike is an improved Surging Strike. It looks great and causes a lot of damage, but it's limited to smaller enemies. At this point, we have better options. Savage Slash should be your most used skill by now in close range combat. Indomitable Lash will improve its damage. Gale Slash takes some timing, but it's the most devastating attack you have, especially after rank 9. It only consumes stamina the first time, unless you break the timing combo. Can be tricky when there are many things happening around you, and you can neither see nor hear the visual and oral clues. Still, very useful, and your fastest skill by far. We'll swap Surging Strike for it. no new augments. In this rank, we can finally compensate our lack of speed. We unlock Mountain Breaker, an improved Null Breaker that is very useful against bosses. At this point, Heavenward Thunder is your weakest skill against bosses. You can use it against flying enemies, but it's slow and with a short range. Just make sure at least one of your pawns is an archer or a magic archer at all times. Mountain Breaker knocks the enemy off balance often, so it's the perfect way to start a combo. If the enemy falls, go to the head and use Indomitable Lash. In the next rank, we get an even better alternative when you have enough stamina. And of course, Dominance. This augment really helps to prevent enemies from moving too much when you want to charge your skills. The last rank is not as impressive as other classes, but don't be fooled, you get the cherry on top. Windstorm Slash is the most powerful warrior skill. It takes an even better timing, but it's a mid-mincer when you get it right. After Mountain Breaker, you can pretty much empty a full life bar of a boss before they can even get up under level 30. At level 60, most mini-bosses are not even fun anymore. Intrepidity is one of the best augments in the game. You losing max health every time you receive damage until resting is very annoying, and forces you to stop wandering around constantly. With the chem kits it's less problematic than in the first game, but it still breaks the rhythm. This is an augment you want to keep with all classes, especially close combat ones. Every vocation has one or more secret skills that I won't cover here to avoid the spoilers. When I get all of them, I will, however, make a specific guide on how to find them. If you got to this point, thank you. Let me know in the comments if you want another guide like this for a specific class. See you next time!
Where did you go? I should know, but it's cold and I don't wanna be lonely, so show me the way home.